do millennials look for in careers? I'm John Britton, Chairman of the IIAB Cal Emerging Leaders Committee. With us today is Jennifer Robinson from the INVEST program. She's the INVEST program director. Jennifer works with educators and insurance industry professionals to provide premier insurance education, resources, and career connections to young people. Jennifer also manages marketing, public relations, and fundraising efforts for INVEST. For today's webinar, we have muted your phones to eliminate background noises. You can still ask questions throughout the webinar through the toolbar of GoToMeetings. All of your questions will be addressed at the end. Jennifer, take it away.
Thanks, Johnny. As you just said, my name is Jennifer Robinson. I am the Program Director for INVEST at the Big Eyes National Office in Alexandria. I've been here about 7 years, and we basically work to increase insurance literacy in students and attract new talent to the industry. We are actually completely free resources, so everything we offer is at no cost for Big Eye members. We get most of our funding through carrier support, which is how we're able to offer everything for free. Right now, the insurance industry continues to have a really difficult time attracting and bringing younger talent into agencies and carriers. We're just not doing a good job of promoting ourselves to be the lucrative and exciting career choice that we are. Millennials see our industry as old and boring, and while some of the staff and agencies may be just that, the industry itself offers everything millennials are looking for. We're just not doing a very good job of communicating that to them. In this brief webinar, I'm just going to touch on the 5 main things millennials are looking for in career choices and how that relates back to the insurance industry. When I give the full presentation in November at InsureFest, I'll get into more detail about all of these and give you some more ideas about how you can help incorporate these things into your agencies to help attract that younger talent. First, I'm going to start off and just briefly explain who these millennials are. Millennials are those that were born between 1982 and the early 2000s. They are the largest generation yet. There are over 100 million people. They are the children of the baby boomers, so they are a pretty large generation. And this is just a couple of pictures of some famous millennials that you might know of, so you can get an idea of who we're talking about here. The first thing that millennials really look for in careers is flexibility. They really want to know that they have the ability to have a really good work-life balance. But flexibility doesn't necessarily mean working less to them. They're digital natives. They feel that they can get work done anywhere and at any time. Sitting at a desk for 8 hours straight, only doing work seems kind of unreasonable for them if they're checking their emails from their phones in the evenings when they're not necessarily on the clock. At the same tone, they also feel like their work can be done anywhere. Since they've always had access to computers, they've grown up, working on things with computers and cell phones and smartphones and things. They don't feel like they have to be in the office to get their work done. It's important for them to have time with their family and friends, and that actually takes priority over getting a promotion. So they prefer to have the flexibility to be able to spend more time with their family and friends and be able to incorporate other things that are important in their life over working more hours just to get a promotion. So clearly it's something that's very important to them. In fact, in a recent Ernst & Young study, lack of flexibility was among the top reasons millennials left a job. So clearly it's something that millennials are really, really looking for, and it's very important to them. Next, millennials really want to be able to give back and make a difference. They want to know that what they're doing is part of a bigger picture and that they are able to help their community around them. In fact, in a recent study by Forbes that was listed in Forbes magazine, 64% of millennials say it's a priority for them to make the world a better place. They grew up witnessing things like 9/11, the Oklahoma City bombings, the Columbine shootings, which at the time were kids that they were the same age as them, and they saw all these horrific things that happened. But at the same time, even though all of these horrible things happened, they saw how people came together and really showed active heroism. And they want to be part of that picture too. They want to know that what they're doing provides them an opportunity to be able to give back and be able to help other people because they've seen how important it's been through past events. Well, in the insurance industry, we're doing that every day. We advise and provide the necessary coverage to individuals and families to help secure their financial future. If their neighbor's home was maybe destroyed by a fire or a tornado, we not only helped that family before that incident occurred, making sure they had the adequate insurance coverage to provide the needed financial protection, but we were also there after the incident occurred to make sure that we were able to help them get everything back together. So that would be something that millennials would find very interesting, knowing that they are able to provide that help to people in their community to help them if they were to go through a loss. We just need to make sure we're explaining that to millennials when they're looking for different career choices. The next thing millennials look for is opportunity. They want to know that if they work hard, their efforts will be rewarded. They want to know that they are not entering a dead-end job, that they're going to be able to go somewhere that they can continue growing up the ranks. Well, in the insurance industry, we can definitely do that. This picture here was actually at a recent AppliedNet conference. We actually hosted some Invest students there and had them come in and listen to a panel of insurance professionals. All of them are really at the top of their career, but they were in various different roles. And I found it so interesting that the students in that presentation, they kept asking, all the different professionals there, not what it was that they had to do to enter their career. They wanted to know how they got to the top. So on that panel, there was someone who was the vice president for information technology for a large carrier, and they wanted to know what they did to get to that role right then. Because to them, they're looking at it as, I don't want to start off and be at the bottom. I want to know what I have to do to make it to the top, and I want to get there fast. Well, in the insurance industry, there's a great opportunity for growth for young people. The average age of an agency principal right now is 55 years old. Millennials can rapidly grow in the insurance industry by entering into a career where there's going to be a lot of people retiring. So although they might enter an insurance agency and they might think that everyone looks a lot older than them, we need to make sure that they understand the opportunities of growth presented to them because of that. Millennials also want to be passionate about what they're doing. They want to know that they're entering into a job that they enjoy and fits their interest. In the insurance industry, we have all kinds of different things available that can help fit someone's interest. For instance, maybe they like boats. They might not be able to afford a boat this big, but perhaps they could work at an insurance agency where they can insure boats like this, and they can talk about boats and different marine things to people. Or perhaps their interests are in horses. They could very easily work in equine insurance. Maybe they're a number cruncher. We could talk to them about how numbers are incorporated into the insurance industry, and we need people with good math skills working in the industry. All of these things are available within the insurance industry. We just need to make sure we explain that to young people so that they understand that it really is relatable. The last thing that millennials really look for is stability. They crave stability. They want to know that if they're entering a job and they're giving it their all, that job's still going to be around, that it's not going to be something that's ripped out from under them. A lot of millennials were entering, graduating from college and entering the workforce right when the economy was going down. And they saw things, for instance, like the big bank companies where they were just letting people go. And so they're very cognizant of making sure that they enter into a career that will give them some stability, that won't get ripped out from underneath of them, and that they'll be able to continue working. For instance, let's talk about, Facebook. Someone, a millennial right now, may think that working for a company like Facebook would be really cool. For them, it's a very well-known company. It's something that they probably access multiple times a day. They're very familiar with it. But where was Facebook a couple years ago? Facebook was just established in 2004, so we don't really know where else they can go, what the future holds for them. If you all remember, Facebook actually knocked MySpace out, and MySpace at the time was the leading social networking site. Well, Facebook just completely yanked that away from them, and now Facebook, I don't think it even exists anymore. Who's to say that another company might not knock Facebook off the market? In fact, less people now are joining Facebook because their parents are on Facebook. So younger people don't want to join Facebook and have their parents being able to see everything they're doing, or basically like a big brother to them. Who knows? It might not be around anymore. But how long has the insurance industry been around? We've been around for a pretty long time. Some people say it's been since early human society. So I think it's pretty safe to say that the insurance industry is a pretty solid industry, and we're not going to be going anywhere. As long as people want to buy houses, there will always be a need for insurance. People will always need to buy insurance, which means our industry is going to continue to stay around. Something we're not probably explaining to millennials right now is the history of how long we've been around and the fact that we're always going to continue. There's not going to be a competitor that's going to come in and replace what the insurance industry can do. So it's an incredibly stable industry for someone to enter, and as you saw before, also to be able to grow. Well, that was my very brief presentation on millennials. I appreciate you all listening, and I hope that you were able to learn something that you can take back to your agencies. I'm going to give this back over to Johnny to see if there's any questions. Again, we're going to go through a lot more about this in InsureFest for the whole presentation, so this is just kind of a tidbit to show you some more information that's out there, but you can always reach out to me too if you want some more specific information before InsureFest.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'd now like to open the webinar for questions everyone may have. If you haven't already done so, please submit your questions. Speaking of questions, I have a quick one for you, Jennifer. Where have you found where's a great place to start to find new talent?
It can kind of vary depending on what type of talent you're looking for. Some people really want to have insurance college graduates, and so actually on the Invest website we have really good tools for you able to find some new recruits, especially coming out of both high schools and colleges. Through the Invest program, we actually promote insurance careers and give students some hands-on career training at both the high school and the college level. So it's a good avenue for volunteers to be able to get involved and be able to meet potential recruits without having to go through the whole interview process with them and be able to understand the types of possible new recruits they have out there. And there's also lots of tools up on the Invest website to be able to go and find local schools in the areas that have Invest programs already established, and different resources for career days if perhaps someone wanted to go and either go to a college or a high school career day and just promote their careers. We have flyers that talk about being an independent insurance agent, just working in the insurance industry in general, and all that is available completely for free, and you can actually download it directly on the Invest website.
Very cool. Thank you. If there's any more questions, please go ahead and submit them to Jennifer.
Yeah, I think I've got one here. Someone wants to know what the most important thing is for millennials when they're looking for careers. I'd say it's probably a mixture between the flexibility and the ability to give back. Both of those, there's a lot of different surveys that go around, but I've seen those consistently topped on top of the list, talking about what they want for in careers. It seems like the make a difference thing is probably maybe a little bit more than flexibility, I would say, but both of those are definitely something that in the insurance industry we're definitely able to have. That's definitely something that we are able to promote to young people. So I think it's probably their two most important things, and we can definitely bring that back to the insurance industry if we explain it correctly to them. I have another one here that says, how do I become comfortable with having young people working out of the office? I think that could really resonate with really any age group, not necessarily young people. I think it just comes back to being able to be comfortable with that person, being able to understand what their job skills are, their ability to, and their productivity, and if they're able to be productive in the office and they're still showing that same productivity outside of the office, then it's probably okay to be able to have them work a little bit more flexible schedule. That would really vary on what their job roles are and what exactly they're doing, and to be able to gauge that. We have another question that says, why do millennials have a reputation of feeling entitled? Is that true? That is completely true. If you think back with when millennials were growing up, the kind of joke going around is that everyone gets a trophy. I've even heard of sports teams now that don't actually keep score because they don't want to hurt the losing team's, the kids' feelings. And that's all been generated from things like that. They've gotten a trophy when they didn't even win, just because they've been told by their parents and their teachers that just because they showed up, they did a great job. So how that transfers down to the workplace is they may show up to work and they feel like they did an awesome job because they actually just showed up. They might not have accomplished anything yet that day, but they feel like they already did something by showing up. And that's where it's very helpful for millennials to be coached and to be mentored, because just as they were on the soccer field when they were getting their trophy, even though they didn't necessarily even win the game, their coaches were coaching them, and they were telling them what they needed to do and what they weren't doing correctly and how to fix it. And millennials are really craving that in the workplace as well. They want to know that, yes, they showed up, they did a good job, but they want to be able to be coached and mentored and not necessarily told they're not doing a good job, but being told how they can make what they're doing better. We have another question. It says, where's the best place to find young people? The question was job fairs. Again, that can really vary. Young people now are really looking to LinkedIn as far as looking for careers. That's where they're finding careers. That's where they're posting up on their careers. So LinkedIn has been a really good tool, again, kind of bringing back the social networking aspect. But again, if you were looking to maybe get tapped into some young folks in wherever your area is, if you go to the Invest website, you can actually pull up a listing of schools and see if there's some near you, and you can actually go and visit a local Invest school and see if there's any possible potential recruits there. There's also a variety of ways to be able to get engaged with your local colleges, whether it's community colleges or four-year colleges. They are always looking for guest speakers for career days. It's a great way to be able to get in front of the students, not only be able to help give back to maybe your local industry and just help provide some insight, but it could be a great way to really meet some potential new recruits and explain to them all of the great aspects of the insurance industry. Our next question is, are millennials interested in taking over and owning an agency someday? And they most definitely are. As I said before, one of the big things they look for is opportunity. They want to know that they are going into a career where they can continue to keep moving, and they do want to be their own boss. They want to know that they're going to eventually come to the top and they're going to be the boss man and they're going to be running the show, and they want to do that as soon as possible. So they're definitely interested in that. But going back to what I said a moment ago, they really appreciate the coaching and the mentoring to get there. So they don't necessarily anticipate graduating from college and jumping right in and being an agency principal. They do know that they need work to get there, but they expect the people that they're working with to be able to help them gain the tools and gain the knowledge to be able to get there as fast as possible. Okay, well, it seems like we don't have any more questions. I guess I can give it back to you, Johnny.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer, for spending time with us today and providing us your insight. If you would like to hear more from Jennifer, she will be presenting another webinar September 14th on attracting new talent to the insurance industry. To register for the webinar, visit www.iiabcal.org and click on the Event tab. In addition, Jennifer will be a keynote at the InsureFest on November 4th through the 6th at the Waterfront Beach Resort in Huntington Beach. She will be talking on the same subjects: recruiting, hiring, and managing millennials, obviously in more depth. For more information to register, visit www.insurefest.org. That concludes today's webinar. Thank you for participating.